As I mentioned in the first video of this series, if you follow along and build all 50 projects together, you will be ahead of more than 99% of the population in generative AI. It doesn't matter if you're a coder, manager, business person, or a student. The idea of this series is to equip you with all the tools and technologies related to generative AI that will help you understand the basic concepts and grow in your respective area. So far, for all 10 generative AI projects we have created, we used Gradio. But today, we will understand a new open source app framework, Streamlit. We will first understand what Streamlit is, and then we will utilize it in our 11th project, which is generating text to image using SDXL. These are some of the cat images I have generated in different styles. Using this tool that runs locally, you can also create any image in any style for free. Only your imagination and creativity are the limit.
Streamlit is another very good app framework that allows us to build and share data applications. So the way we were using Radio, this is also another framework that we can utilize for these kind of applications. I wanted to have it used because this Streamlit provides some additional controls as well as functionalities that we didn't have with Radio. That's why I thought to have it included for some of my next projects. Okay, so if you want to see it, streamlit.io is the website name. If you want to go to the documentation, you can click on this docs and it will give you all the details, whatever is required. However, in my videos, today's videos, I'm going to explain very high level how you can install it and start using it. We'll also see some of the controls that we can use, and going forward as we start building our projects, we'll start including different controls that we have in Streamlit. Okay, so some of the, if you want to see the applications or gallery, so these are the applications that people has already created using Streamlit. It also allows you to create multi page applications, right? So you can also, if you want to have multiple pages wherein you click one link and it redirects you to another page, you can also build such kind of applications as well, right? So let's get started how to use it in our code. So to do that, even the project that we are going to create today, we'll be using Streamlit only, and going forward as well, we'll be using Streamlit for next couple of applications that we are going to build. Okay, so to start with, if I'll go here, then you see this is pip install Streamlit. This is the first command that you'll have to run. So I'll just first open my PyCharm, and I will create let me create a new folder, new directory. I'll give it a name as Streamlit demo, and then inside this folder I'm going to create a new Python file, and I'll give it a name Streamlit demo. Okay, but before utilizing Streamlit, what you'll have to do is you'll have to open the console. So let me open a console, and then you need to write pip install Streamlit. Okay, and press enter. It will install the Streamlit on the machine. I already have installed, that's why it is saying requirement already satisfied. Okay, now once you install the once the installation is done at your end, you just need to import it. So you can just say import Streamlit as st. Okay, and then you can start using the control. For example, st.text, right? And I can enter, this is my first Streamlit app. And to run this application in Radio, if you remember, in our previous projects, what we used to do, we used to run the application using Python command, right? But here, if you want to use Streamlit, there is another command. So you'll have to write Streamlit run and then file name. So I'll just put Streamlit. Okay, I'm in a different folder. Let me first go to the folder where the new folder that I've created. So this one. So I'll just right click, open in terminal, and I'll enter Streamlit run and then file name, so streamlit demo.py, and I'll press enter. So similar to Gradio, it will also give us a new URL, and this will also give us the local URL as well as network URL, right? So you can use that as well. So let's see some of the controls that we have in Streamlit, and then we will start working in our project, in today's project, wherein we are also using some of the controls from Streamlit. So next we are going to do is st.title, and I'll enter Gen AI Learn Yours Streamlit tutorial. Okay, I'll save I'll go back to my Streamlit application, I'll refresh it, and here is my title, right? Similarly, let's see another control, st dot button, and then I'll give my demo button. I'll click save, go back to my Streamlit applications, and this is my button, right? You can see this is the button that is I generated. Similarly, if you, so all the controls you can add. I want to use checkbox, so I can also do that. My checkbox, and also you can provide the values that, as I mentioned, as soon as we keep working on it, we will be utilizing these controls as well as some additional controls, but this is just for the demo to let you guys understand that how easy it is to use, right? So this is a my checkbox has been added. Similarly, if I want to use drop down, then what I can do is select box, and then I'll give it a name, for example my drop down, and then I'll give the options as option 1, option 2, option 3. Okay, I'll go back and refresh. So you can see my drop down has been created. It has all the 3 options. So as you can see, right, it's quite easy to utilize these controls that we have in Streamlit, and we can just save this value, whatever the selection team has done, user has done. We can just save it, like if I want to save it as select is checkbox selected, so it will, as soon as users user select anything, the same selection will be saved over here, right? So the same value can be saved over here. So this is how it is. Let's try some of the other controls as well. So st dot text input, my text box, and then maybe we should have my text box, right? I can enter anything. Similarly, if I want to use file upload, so I can also use the file uploader. I can just mention, for example, my upload file, and then I can also define what all type I want this selection to allow, this uploader to allow. So maybe JPG and comma PNG, right? So let me go back here and I'll refresh, and here's the browse file, right? And this file only allow you to create either JPG or PNG file. Okay, so similarly you can have, if I want to include color picker, for example, so I can also do that. So color picker, pick a color, and I'll go back here, I'll select, and this will allow me to pick the color, right? Whatever color. So as you can see, there are multiple controls. I will not be explaining each and every control, but you can see there are multiple controls available, like title, selection box, text input, file upload, text checkbox, image, cache resource. We are going to talk about. This is one of the very amazing feature that Streamlit provides to cache any of our models or any of our files. If you wanted to use it, we can use it from the cache. Audio, so all these things are here. So we will keep we'll keep utilizing all these controls in our upcoming projects, but for now I think I just want to give you some idea that how easy it is to utilize Streamlit. Okay, I'll first open my PyCharm. I will run it as administrator. So I'll click here. And this time we are going to use SDXL model to create our project. That would be text to image generation. And obviously we'll be adding some style component as well. So let me first create a new Python file, and I'll give it a name as image generation XL. Okay, so my file is ready. Now the model, as I mentioned, the model that we are going to use is text to image model, and let me search, and we are going to use a stable diffusion XL base 1.0. Okay, so I'll click over here. So if you go to the details of this model, so you will see that it works. Basically there are 2 different models. One is base model, second one is refiner model. So it's proven that once you use SDXL base plus refiner, you basically get the best quality result, right? So how it works is, first we will pass our prompt to the base model, that will give a kind of latent image, and then we'll pass that image to refiner, and that will give us a better quality image. So we will be trying both. We'll be trying both base. Though this is not necessary for you to use the refiner, but as I mentioned, with refiner, you will get the better quality image, right? So we'll try both. We'll first create the image using base model, and then we'll extend that project and create and integrate it with refiner. So let's get started. So as we have been doing, and let me open the refiner model as well. So this is the page for refiner, right? So as we have been doing in our previous projects, what we are going to do is we will be use this model, diffusers, and then we'll copy this code. Okay, I'll come here and then I'll paste it over here. So I'll remove everything else for now. Okay, and then I'll go here again, use this model, diffuser, and then copy. Okay, so first I'll download both the models, base model as well as refiner model, and then we will be integrating first with base model and then we'll refiner model. So let me remove everything. And if you have been following my previous project, I think you must be aware what I'm going to do now. So I'll run this command, so that will start downloading these models on my local machine. So Python image generation xl.py, and I'll press enter. Okay, so ideally it should start downloading my model. Let's see. Okay, as you can see, it has started downloading the model. The model size is big, so it will take some time. So let me pause this video and I'll come back once I'll start once the models are downloaded on my machine. So both my models are downloaded. So again, the same process as I have been following in my previous projects. So I'll go to C, users, username, then cache, then Hugging Face, hub, and I'll copy both the models that I downloaded. So today is 7th of October, so I'll just cut it from here. I'll go back to my project. I will go to the model folder where I am kind of placing my models, right? So I'll go to open with Explorer and I'll go inside models and I'll paste it here, right? Okay, so now my models are downloaded. Now we need to have the model path, right? Okay, these two models are here, right? So I'll add SDXL base model path is equal to, I'll expand it. I will expand the snapshot. I will right click here, right? This is the same process, right, that I have been doing in my previous project. So if you're following, you already know why I'm doing that. And then copy path reference, and then I'll click on path from content root. Okay, and then I will paste it over here, right? So I pasted my model similarly, and then I'm inside this folder, so I'll go // so that I can just reach out to that folder from where I'm calling. Similarly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add SDXL refiner model path is equal to sorry, again I'll expand this one, refiner one. I'll again follow the same process. I'll click on this folder. I'll just copy path reference, path from content root, and then I'll paste it over here. Okay, so both my model path is here. Now let's start with our code. So first what I'm going to do is I will first load the pipeline. Okay, so to load the pipeline, let me create a function, and I'll let you know why we are creating the function. As we have using Streamlit, it also allows us some additional functionality, like it allows us to cache the model. So you will see it once we move forward and once we start running the project. But for now, let me create a function. So I'll create a function and I'll give a name as load pipeline. And if you're following my previous videos, I think all these concepts, how to create the function, why I'm creating the functions, all these things I already have explained in my previous videos. So if you have any doubt, I would recommend to watch my previous videos. So far we have created 10 different projects. This is, I believe, is the 11th one. So I'll just mention device is equal to CUDA. So if you are having GPU, it will take CUDA. Otherwise, it will use devices CPU. But before that, let me also import torch as we have been doing, and you know why. And then also import Streamlit as SD. Okay, so I'll just mention torch dot CUDA dot is available, then CUDA else CPU. Okay. Okay, now let me go back to my Hugging Face and I'll copy the code again from here. I mean, use this model and then diffuser. I can copy any code because I'm just interested in this line. So I'll copy this, I'll paste it over here. Okay, and I'll add some additional parameter over here. So one parameter would be torch d type is equal to torch dot float 16 if device is equal to CUDA else torch dot float 32. So I'm making these changes so that if you're running it on your local machine that doesn't support GPU, it will also work for you. Now you will have to wait a lot. I mean, you'll have to wait maybe a couple of minutes for one image to be generated, but at least it will work. So if you want to test this out, then you can definitely try it. Then I'll use safe tensor is equal to true. And then finally I'll be adding one more parameter, variant is equal to fp16 if it's CUDA, else it would be none. So fp16 if device is equal to CUDA, else none. Okay, so my function is ready. Now what I need to do is, one last thing that I need to do is, again for the same, I mean, if I need to use, if you have I just want to make sure that it works for everyone. That's why I'm just adding these lines. Otherwise it is not required to have this if else condition. I just want to make sure that even if you have if you do not have the GPU, it should work fine for you. So I'll just add pipe dot so I just have if device is equal to pipe.toDevice, and then I already have explained all these things, so I'm again not explaining everything again. So if you have any queries, you can watch my previous video. The same concept I think I used in my previous video when we created a project using SD3. So you can refer that video. And enable CPU offload. Okay, so my this function is ready. Now whenever we need to load the model, we will be calling this function. Okay, one thing that I need to change, so I'll just copy this line, comment this one, since we also need to upload it to Hugging Face. So I'll just copy it, and once we need to upload it, we will be uncommenting this line and commenting this one. I'm just replacing this part with the local part that I have. Okay, so it's done. Another function, that is our main function, which will be for image generation. So give it a name as image generation, and let me pass two parameters. First one is prompt, first one is pipe, the one that will be responsible for generating the model, and then second one would be the prompt. Okay, and then basically for this image generation we will have to mention all the parameters, like whatever is required, like prompt, negative prompts, all these things we will have to pass as a parameter for this pipe. The same way it has explained here, right? The if you'll go to diffuser, if you'll see, it says pipe and prompt, right? But along with prompt we can pass some additional parameters, so I'm passing that as well. So let me do that. So I'll put inside try, and then I'll just use image is equal to pipe, and then inside this pipe I'll be passing all those parameters. So prompt is equal to prompt, then I'll be passing negative prompt is equal to maybe some of the things that I do not want my image to have. So for example, it should not be blurred, it should not be, these are some of the keywords that basically make your image little better and give your image some better quality. Watermark, low resolution. Okay, let's leave it as is. Then I'll be passing number of inference steps. I'll make it 20. So number of inference steps
I already have explained in my previous video, but just to give you a high level idea, number of inference step is how many iteration you want your image to do to generate the image. Better the quality, more the steps, better the quality. However, it also takes longer to generate the image. And then last one is guidance scale. I'll keep it like 9.0 for now. This is something that how you want your model to adhere to your prompt. So more the value, it will more adhere to your prompt, right? And then I'll just mention images 0. Okay, so pipe, then we have everything ready, and then I will be doing, okay, and then I'll be doing return image. And then I also need to since I have used try, I also need to add catch the exception. So exception as e, and then since we are going to use Streamlit, so I'll just mention Streamlit.error, and then I'll mention error generating image. Okay, so it's done, and then I'll be returning null. Sorry, none. So this function is also ready. So my first function that is responsible for loading the model, that is also ready, that we call it as load pipeline. Second function is also ready, that is image generation. For now I am passing the pipe, I'm in the base model, whatever model that we are getting, and then the prompt, and inside that pipe we are passing prompt, and the negative prompt, number of inference steps, and guidance scale. And then I also have used exception handling here. Okay, now let's come to our fun part when we are going to have our final Streamlit application code. I'm writing my Streamlit application code. So first I'll just add st.title, and I'll give it a name as application 11 Gen AI Learniverse image generation using SDXL. Okay. Then I'll select prompt. Prompt is equal to st.text.input, sorry, text underscore input, and then I'll give it a kind of placeholder text, enter your prompt, and then I'll give a default value for now, for example, a futuristic superhero cat. Okay, so this is the prompt that I have been doing. Now what I'll do is I'll just load my pipeline. So I'll just call it as pipeline is equal to load pipeline. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do is if st.button, the name of that button would be generate awesome image. So as soon as I click on this button, what it should be doing, then it should start the spinner. It should start the spinner. So for that I'll just and as you can see, right, with Streamlit we are getting some of the additional feature that was not available while we were using Gradio, right? So that's why I thought to include that as well in my learning list. Then I'll calling the function, final function, because we have the pipeline that we have loaded using the load pipeline function. We have the prompt that we have written, right? There's two other parameters we are passing. We have hard coded, so no need to pass it again from here. Now we can also provide an option later on to the users so that they can also change these values. We are also going to do that. But for now, let's go with the basic. So I'll just say if image, then st.image, and then I'll include this image. Okay, so my code is ready. Let's try to run it and try to find out if it is working fine or we face any error.
Okay, so as I have explained, for running Streamlit application, we need to call out as Streamlit run, and then we need to pass the file name image generation XL. Okay, and press enter. Let's see what happens. Okay, perfect. And it worked fine, seems like. Okay, perfect. But why it is downloading the model again? Okay, I did a mistake because I kept this line. That's why it is trying to download it again. Let me stop it. And I'll uncomment this line. I'm sorry, I'll comment this line, and let me close this one for now, and let me run it again. So I will just click on this. If you do not know how to bring that console, you just need to click on this file, and then you need to go to open in terminal, and then you need to call the function streamlit run, then image generation XL, and then I'll press enter. So it is kind of loading. Let's see what is going on here. Name device is not found. Okay, so let's see what went wrong. It says device, which line it is, line 21. Okay, I commented this line as well. So let me again restart. I'll just press Control C. That will close my console. I mean close my application, sorry. Let me again close it, run it again. Okay, so this time it should be working fine. Okay, perfect. So my UI has been loaded. However, right now if you see my code, it is trying to load the pipeline. So once it loads the pipeline, it also tries to load the model. Okay, so it will take some time to load the model. So once model is loaded, then only it will be able, it will, right now if you see, it is saying running. It will give me an option to generate the image, and I think afterward I'll be able to see the button. So let's wait for this to happen. Okay, this is the button that I have. Let me click on this button, and it again started loading the component, the model, and then it will also start generating my image. So let's wait for this to happen. Error generating image, none type object is not callable. Okay. Okay, I just have found the issue. It was related to, I did a silly mistake. So load pipeline, I'm not returning any value, right? Ideally, you should return type, right? Then only it will be able to. So from the error that it is showing is like error generated none type object is not callable. So basically, when we are calling this function here, where is that? Load pipeline, since we were not returning anything, this pipeline is getting null value or none value, and that's why when we're trying to call generate image function, it is giving me the error. So now since we have fixed it, let's try to run it again. I'll just stop the running process, and I'll close this window. I'll again go back and I'll enter this. Let's see this time what happens. So it will first start downloading the model again. As you can see, it is running, and in the progress bar, if you'll see, it will start loading the pipeline components. And pipeline component means it is trying to load this particular model to the memory. Okay, so let's wait for this to finish. Okay, so here is my prompt: a futuristic superhero cat. I'll click on generate awesome image, and then it will again try to load the pipeline to generate the image, and then it will take 20 steps again to iterate, because we have given the inference step as 20. So let's see. Let's first load this component. Okay, it has started downloading. Okay, it has started downloading. Let's ignore the warning. And as I mentioned, you can see these are the 20 inference steps that we gave. It will iterate for that 20 steps. So as I also have explained, more the steps you will provide, it will take more time. So let's wait for this process to complete, and then afterward, as soon as this process completes, we should have our image ready. So it might take some time. So let's wait for this to finish, and then we'll see the image, what kind of image is generated. Okay, as you can see, my image is generated now, but it took a lot of time. It took around 6 minutes 12 seconds to generate that image, right? So let me try to make some changes. The one change that I mentioned earlier, right, when we allow our model to load it only once, so for that I'll just use st dot cache resource. Okay, so this is the so this is what we are going to use. So after having this, as soon as first time when this function gets loaded, it will load this model, and second time we'll try to run the code, it will not run it again. So if I'll try to click the model right now, since the code is running from my previous code, so if you'll see, it will again try to load that model, right? This is again trying to load the model. However, next time when I try to run it, it should be loading the model once, and next time as soon as whenever I click, it will not load this model again. It will utilize it from cache. So let's cancel this, let's stop this process, and then let me try with the new code, I mean with the cache code that I just added. So I'll just see control C. Okay, I'll also close this one, and then we'll start the process again. Okay, so I'll say Streamlit run, then image generation XL. Okay, I use the same spelling, and then I'll just enter, and this time it is loaded. And first time obviously it will try to load, but the second time when we try to generate the image, it will not load my model again. So first time obviously it will take time to load the model, and then but the second time it should be quicker. It will skip this particular step that currently it is doing. Oh, sorry. So I'll click on generate awesome image, and then it will start loading, and you can see this time it is much faster, right? As you can see, it is generating the image much faster for me. And I'll go here, it should ideally give me the image. Okay, so this is my image that is generated. Let me try again. So generate awesome image, and this time as you can see, it didn't load the model, right? It didn't load the model, just starting from this inference step, right? And it should have, I should have my third image. So this is my third image. Maybe I'll just add 3D picture style and generate image. Again, it is trying to load it for me, and now it is only taking me 7 seconds to generate the image. So that's the beauty of Streamlit, that it cached my model, and then it is kind of making everything faster. So as you can see, this is the image, and this is a nice image that it generated, correct? So maybe use a dragon flying in the sky, and then maybe 3D pixel art. Okay, and then I'll again click on generate it. I click no, generate awesome image. And it took 7 seconds, and then ideally my image should be generated now. Okay, so this is the one that it generated, right? And it is kind of following the prompt that I'm providing. So as you can see, my code is working absolutely fine, and this is the clean code, I mean very clean code that we have. This is the function to load pipeline, this is the function to generate image, and finally this is the Streamlit application that first loads the pipeline and ultimately calling the image generation function. Also, we have used this cache resource option of Streamlit that allows us to cache our model, and that basically improve the performance multiple times, right? So this is how it, let's extend it a little further. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some style in this image. Okay, so to do that, I want to so I have one I have some style list. For example, you can see futuristic retro cyberpunk, and it has corresponding to this as well. There is a prompt written and there is a negative prompt written, right? Similarly, dark fantasy, there is a prompt written and there is a negative prompt, right? So I'm utilizing this style, and then I'll be using this style inside my Streamlit application. So as soon as I select that style, the image that we will be generating will be having that style. Okay, and to do that, I'm going to take help from our friend ChatGPT. So let's quickly move and let me ask a question. And I'll ask the question. I have a set of tables. I have a table having name, prompt, and negative prompt. Okay, I want you to write a Python function that would take the name and return prompt and negative prompt in the response. Okay, along with that, I'll also mention I want the table to be there inside code only. Okay, let's see what kind of code it generates for me. So it has created the table like this. Okay, and then what it is doing is it is going through each entry and then find out the what is the entry, and then returning me both this prompt as well as negative prompt. Okay, so let's see. I'll be utilizing this function, but before that, what I'm going to change is let me this is my table. Could you please change the default table with the data I am providing? Okay, so the only reason I'm explaining it, I'm utilizing ChatGPT, is because I want you guys to understand that end of the day, what happens is you need not to be expert to start coding, or you want to experiment something. It's not a problem. If you are not doing right now, it means you do not want to do it. Otherwise, if you want to do something, now we have the tools available that allows us to code or to perform whatever action we want to do. Okay, so we have our function ready. So let me copy this function. Let me copy this complete code. Maybe I'll go back to my code and I'll paste it over here. Okay, so let's see what the function is. So this is the function get prompts. I'll just provide the name, and then it should give me positive and negative prompt, right? And this is the example it has given. So what I'm going to do is I will be using why to use that could you please write a code for Streamlit to have these styles inside the dropdown. Okay, rather than utilizing this code, let's use the Streamlit code that it has given. So what I'll be doing is I'll just copy this code, not the complete code. Maybe I'll just copy this one, the code till here. Okay, let me copy from here. I will go over here and then I'll paste it. And this is like I have the table, I have the style names, then it is saying I think I copied the wrong code. Let me see. Okay, this is my code. So I'll copy it from here, I'll paste it, and then style name is equal to this, style name is equal to this, then option dictionary, that's okay. And there are some changes we'll have to do. So right now what we do is in our image generation, we are just passing pipeline and prompt, right? We also need to pass one additional entry, that is negative prompt. Okay, and then what I'll do is I will just we have the style name that will be appearing inside that Streamlit drop down, and then if style name is there, then we have selected entry, and then what I'll call it as style selected style. style prompt is equal to I will just mention selected style prompt is equal to this one, and negative selected style negative prompt is equal to prompt is equal to this negative prompt. So I'll explain what I have done, or basically what ChatGPT has given me. So let me remove it. Okay, so what I have done is what ChatGPT has given. This is the table that it has created, a default table. There's a better way to handle it, but for this POC purpose, I'm just making it hard coded. And then it has selected all the styles inside this dictionary, and then it bound all the styles in the drop down, so that we will have all those options in our drop down. And then in the selected entry, what I'm selecting is these two fields, right? So whenever I select the futuristic retro cyberpunk, the first field, this field will give me this prompt, this field will give me this negative prompt. Okay, and along with that, I also make one change inside this function. I am passing negative prompt, so I'll have to pass this negative prompt here as well. Okay, and next thing what I'll have to do is, we already have the prompt, so whenever I'm passing the prompt, what I'll have to do is I'll also have to pass this selected style prompt, right? So so my prompt, whatever prompt I'm giving, along with that the style that we have selected, that prompt we are passing to image generation. Similarly here as well, along with the negative prompt that we already have, we are passing negative prompt. Okay, so this is how, let's see how it works, whether now screen allow me to select the styles, and what kind of images we are able to generate. Let's see. So I'll just use Streamlit app image generation, and I'll press enter. Oh, Streamlit run, sorry, I don't know why I mentioned app. Okay, so now first it will load my model. So first time it will take some time, then afterwards, since we have used this cache, so it should be a little faster. But let's see whether we have our drop down appearing or not. So that is the another thing that we have added. Okay, the location is not correct, so let me correct the location where it is. st.title, I will remove this one because this is no longer required, and then I'll also change this style name is equal to this will go at the bottom of the screen, right? Once we have maybe before our button. Okay, so I'll stop it and run it again. I just have stopped the model loading, and then I'll run it again. So let's see. Okay, sometimes you get this error, but once you refresh it, it should be working fine. So as you can see, my model has started it is kind of started loading, and then let's wait for it to load, and then we'll try with our prompt. Okay, so now as you can see, we have one prompt and then select style. So maybe let me select one style, dark fantasy, and I'll just mention superhero character. Let's keep it as is. And okay, there is some error. Negative prompt is not defined. What mistake I did? Okay, sorry, this should be selected style negative prompt, right? Okay, now it should be fine. So again, I'll just stop it, start it again. It will first load my model. It will first load my model, and then it will start, it will give me the option to generate the image. Okay, so now we have our style. So let me select the style. I'll select dark fantasy. I'll just click on generate image, and it has started generating the same. Let's see what kind of image it generates. Ideally the style should be changed with the prompt, and then it should have, if you want to see what dark fantasy was, it's like dark fantasy art, dark moody dark fantasy style. So let's see what kind of style it is. Obviously it would be different than the normal one. And if you want to see what is dark fantasy style, then let me dark fantasy style. So this is the kind of image that we are anticipating. Okay, so model loading is completed, inference step is also done. So in next couple of seconds we should have, as you can see, right, this is the image that it has generated, right? And you can see the style is kind of same. All right, so again let me try to change it. Futuristic retro cyberpunk, I'll click on generate, and this time it should be faster comparatively. It's taking a little longer. Okay, so now it should be, my image should be ready. Okay, as you can see, it generated the image in the cyberpunk style, right? Let's try the final one, and then we move to the next step. Double exposure, let's see what it is. And you can see it is much faster. Okay, perfect. So this is my double exposure image that was generated. So as you can see, you can change the you can add as many style as you want. You can also create a separate file or maybe database to store these styles, and then you can utilize that style to generate different set of images. Okay, before moving to the next step, what I want to do is I will first upload it to Hugging Face. Um, so now there are two steps pending. First one is to integrate it with Refiner. But once we integrate with Refiner, the model side increases, right? Because it would have SDXL model plus Refiner model. So when we upload that in Hugging Face, it probably will not work. I can try just with SDXL. So let me upload this SDXL code on Hugging Face, and let's see whether it is working fine or not. Before that, let's wait for this image to generate. Okay, perfect. So my image is generated, right? So based on the style, whatever I'm selecting. So this is a kind of mini web UI version that you can utilize for generating any number of images on your local machine. Okay, so let's move to the next step, and we will be uploading our code to Hugging Face. So to upload the code on Hugging Face, we will have to make some changes. So what I'll do is I'll first uncomment this, comment this line, and then what I am going to do is I'll just copy paste this, replace the model path with the actual path. So I think this is what was expected. Then I'll go to Hugging Face and I'll click on space, new space, give it a name as image gen using SDXL with style. Okay, license, let me give it at Apache 2.0, and this time rather than radio we'll be using Streamlit. Okay, and then I'll click on create space. And if you are following my previous, if you have seen my previous videos, you know how to upload the files, what all files we need to create, and how we can let our application work on Hugging Face. So I'm not explaining everything again, but quickly I'll create a file. I'll give it a name as requirements.txt, and then I'll start putting the package name, transformers, library name. And then what all libraries we have diffusers, we have torch, and we have Streamlit. Okay, I'll click on commit new file. Again I'll go to files and I'll create a new one, and this time I'll give it a name as app.py. Now I'll go back to my code file, and then I will, okay, one more thing I'll have to comment before going to that, before moving it to Hugging Face, is this code, because this requires some additional software to be installed that might not be available on Hugging Face. So I'll just comment it, and then I will copy and I will paste. Okay, and let's commit new file to main. Okay, and I'll go to app and it will start building my application. Let's see whether my application is loading successfully, or we get any kind of compilation or any other errors. Okay, so my application seems like is loaded. Okay, and it is trying to load the pipeline. Okay, so my page is loaded. It is asking me to select the styles, and I'll click generate image, and it is starting generating. I'll not wait for image to generate because I am quite sure that will take much longer to generate the images, but obviously you can try it. And also I'd suggest to try it on a local machine rather than Hugging Face. I think that would be better. But yeah, our application is running fine on Hugging Face as well. Okay, so in the last step, we are going to integrate it with Refiner model, right? So for that, if I will write the code, probably this video is going to be too long. So what I'm going to do is, I already have written the code and I'm going to explain it to you. If you want, you can just, utilize this code, and any point, if you're stuck somewhere or do you have any queries to understand anything, just post it in the comment section and I'll try to reply as soon as possible. So for this one, what I have done is I have added a checkbox. I have saved the value in the variable use refiner, right? And this value I'm passing it to the function that we created, load pipeline, right? Initially, if you remember, in the last section where we only integrated with the base model, we were just calling this function, right, load pipeline. So now what we are going to do is we are also calling, we are also passing this particular variable, so whether user has selected to use refiner or not. Okay, and then once it is done in the load pipeline function, I have included this load refiner, right? So first section is everything remains same, the one that we did for base model, but afterward what I have done is I have added on condition if include refiner. That what I have done is I have called this from pre-trained again, and then SDXL, I have used the SDXL refiner model path. I mean this one, this model path, right? And then there's some of the properties that we have used, like text encoder. I have used the same text encoder that we had with base. Similarly for VAE, we have used base VAE, and the remaining parameters are kind of same that we used here, right? Like torch D type, use shift tensors, variant, all these kind of things, right? And similarly, this code is also there same for our refiner model, right? To have it perform better. The similar change we did it for image generation. So here also, if you see, I am passing refiner. If we are getting the refiner, then we also need to pass it to the process image when the image gets generated. So you see that if refiner is there, what I'm going to do is I am also using this is the base model, that this is the same code that we had for base. Then afterward, what I'm going to do is I'm also calling refiner, right? Refiner means the object that we get here, and then inside this we are passing some of the parameter. The one change that I did was in the basement, when I'm calling the base model, what I did is I have added denoising end. So what I'm asking it to end the denoising at 8. 8 means it's like if it is like 20, then I'm saying that okay, denoiser needs to end at 8, and afterward what I'm saying is here denoiser need to start from 8. Okay, so where it ends, afterward the latent image should start from there with the refiner model. So this is what I have done it for, what I have done for base, and then afterward I'm you passing the same prompt, same image that got generated here, and then the denoising start, I am keeping the same value that where I end denoiser in the base part, right? And then once this is generated, this image is something that we are passing, and then Streamlit is showing this image. So this is how it is. Again, I know I explained it little fast, but again, if you have any queries or if you're stuck somewhere, just post it in the comment section. I'll try to reply it as soon as possible. Let's try to run this project. So I'll just use Streamlit run and image generation using refiner. I'll press enter, and I'll just load it. I'll not generate the image because it might take some time. So because there are two models getting loaded together, but I'll show that, I'll just make sure that at least my
UI is loading correctly. So as you can see, my prompt is ready. This checkbox that we added to make sure whether to give an option to the user whether they want to use refiner or not. So I have given that option over here, and then it will take some time to load the pipeline, because this time it will load two images, two models basically. One is the base model, second one is the refiner model, right? And then it is loaded, then ideally it should give me an option to it should enable the button to generate the image. It did. So I'll click over here. So it will start generating the image for us using both base model as well as refiner model. Okay, if you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Stay curious, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep learning.